Hello, this is Slowrider coming at you live from Slowrider Acres. Going to give you the 30,000 mile review of my 2023 Diavel V4. So it's one man, one rider. I ride this thing every day to work and back. It's 100 miles round trip in California. So it's about 5 miles of twisties and then Interstate 80, a big interstate where you hit 100, 110 miles an hour, 120 periodically. Like the average cruising speed of the traffic's between 80 and 90 per hour, 80 and 90 miles per hour. And then the last few miles is Sacramento, California area, which is basically your heavy city traffic. So that's 50 miles down, 50 miles back. I just got home. When I left this morning, it was 30 degrees out. When I got back, it's 60. So overall, in 30,000 miles, I've never been stuck or stranded. The most recent maintenance thing I had, really the only thing I had that went out that was covered under the factory warranty. I do have the extended 5 years, so I have 7 years unlimited warranty. So what happened, they had to replace the slave cylinder and the clutch, which was covered by Ducati factory. And I think that was pretty much it. There's been a few little bits and pieces, but that's probably the only thing. It just made it where it was hard to shift gears, but otherwise you could still ride it in quick shift mode, but yeah, the clutch just wouldn't disengage, so they fixed that. That happened at about 25,000 miles. Then for the tires, I get tires every 5,000 miles on this bike, and then also the chain was replaced at 20,000. The chain and sprockets, and it's coming up on I think it's got another 6,000 miles. At 36,000, it'll do the valve job. And then I had the 2-year maintenance, which was one of the periodic 9,000 mile periodic maintenance just done last week, and that was changing the clutch fluid and changing the brake fluid. Oil change, and so just a whole all-round inspection. They check all the fitments and all the bolts and the chain, and so everything was good. So the only thing they had to replace was, of course, the oil filter, the oil. They replaced the oil and the brake fluid after 2 years, and they also, since they had done the service under warranty for the clutch hydraulic system, Ducati paid for that. So let me get the invoice out. I'll let you guys see the invoice here. 1 second. So the invoice for the 2-year maintenance was $770. So I've had all this done at the dealership because I ride this bike pretty hard. Like, I just got back from work, and I love it. So it's a fun bike to ride. Today's a nice sunny day. Like I said, it was 30 degrees when I left. Now it's about 60, so it's perfect motorcycle weather. I just wear my leathers and sweatshirt underneath, and I'm good to go. But in 30,000 miles, like I said, this bike is just a winner chicken dinner. I love it. I can't say enough good things about it. It just rips. It's unbeatable, man. I got for the people that don't know about the channel, I put the Termagani titanium dragster exhaust without the DB killer, so it's probably what most people would consider excessively loud, but I like it like that. It's got that snap, crackle, pop, and people hear you coming and they hear you going. And on these bikes, since I got 30,000, when I got the bike, it only had 4 miles on it, 4 miles. Now it's actually got 31,000, but this is the 30,000 mile review to keep it simple. I love it. I ride it in the touring mode, which is the high power mode. So I'm getting all 186 horsepower, and this bike is probably more like 196 because it's got a little. I haven't done it, but other channels have dynoed this, because what I did is with the Termagani dragster exhaust. It's basically straight titanium pipes off the back. And I also replaced the intake filter with the racing filter, which gives 2.5 times more airflow. And also I did the up map on the bike myself. So I did all that. You download that from upmap.com, from a website. It's designed by Termagani and Ducati for this bike. Specifically, it's a tune without the DB killer. So what that does, it makes the bike run 4 cylinders all the time, and then it dumps a lot more gas in there. So you get the fuel air mixture is much better. It's not all leaned out for emissions. And then also this gets rid of the catalytic converter. And the bike actually runs about 10 degrees cooler on average, which is nice in the summertime. And I also don't run with the, I don't put the blocker here, because that's going to decrease your cooling probably 5 or 10%. So these bikes run hot. And I run all year round. So in Sacramento area here, it gets like 110, 100, 110. And I'm moving to Phoenix. So when it's hot in the summer, I'm still riding these bikes with my full leathers to work like normal. And they do get hot. So you got to keep moving, and you don't want anything blocking the cooling. But in terms of the horsepower, it's about 196. You can feel the difference with the tune, because it's just, you get more flow, it blows the heat out. And it's just more responsive, and it's not as jerky as it used to be, because in the lower gears under certain RPM, I think it was it keeps shifting back and forth between 2-cylinder and 4-cylinder, and that made the bike a little jerky at low speeds. But I typically run this bike, it red lines out, I believe, at 12,500 RPM. I typically, when I'm cruising on the freeway at 80 miles an hour, I'm in 4th gear, and I'm at 8,000 RPM, 8 or 9,000. So I'm always like, this thing's always ripping, which I like. So I'm always in that at least 150 horsepower range, because this bike is pretty linear. If you look at the RPM of the horsepower versus RPM, it's pretty linear. So if you're basically, if you're revving this thing at 5,000, I feel like it's bogged down. Most people drive, I don't know why they buy these super bikes or leader bikes, or not just Ducatis, but any one of these bigger bikes. And I see people running them at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, which I don't understand. So I think most people need to downshift the gear, because they can handle, these things can handle the RPMs, and I just rev them. I mean, I rip around sometimes at 9,000 or 10,000 RPM, just ripping for miles, and it loves it. It just rips, and it sounds cool, and I like it. It's because then, you're getting up to the higher horsepower, you can feel it. You have much more control on the freeway. Like when I'm going 90 on the freeway, I can be 4th gear, 9,000 RPM, and I have perfect control, because I can go 80, 90, 100, 110, 80. It's just, and it's all controlled with the throttle, which is nice. But anyways, I love the bike. Haven't had any problems with it. It runs great. It starts up. I mean, everything's original equipment except, I did the fender eliminator, obviously, and I did the mirror eliminator with the CRG mirrors. These are nice. I did a whole video where these, when you're sitting on it facing forward, I can actually see from here. I can see the tail of my bike. So those mirrors are nice, because the mirrors that come with it are here, and you just see your shoulders, and here you see behind you without even turning your head. So this is a big safety item for me. It's just not a cool factor, but I mean, it looks cool, but I think it's a lot safer to have those mirrors as far out as possible. And I still lane split, and I don't have a problem. I mean, I don't know. You can get between the cars. Sometimes you gotta wobble through the mirrors, but you get it. But I love the bike. So I'm selling my house now. I've probably been up here 20 years in the Sierra foothills, Northern California, up between Lake Tahoe and Sacramento. So I'm moving down to Phoenix. So hopefully to be ripping around down there soon someday, because I'm going to move down there. I have this bike, and I have 2 Panigale V2s, because I have twin boys, and I'm going to buy, when I move down there, I'm going to buy a 2025 or 2026, maybe, if they come out. Depends on when I move. I'm going to get a Panigale V4, a new one. because I want to check it out. But I love Ducatis. Uh, we have two. What year is it? I'm losing track. Yeah, well, so we have two 2025. We have the Super Quadro 2025 Panigale V2s. We got two of those. So we got three brand new bikes that we put all the miles, and those two bikes, they each have 10,000 miles on it. They're two Panigale V2s. Again, no problems. Those are reliable. We ride them all over the place. We put 10,000 miles. We got those. We got those bikes right before summer. So January, March. We got those in June, and they've already each. So two motorcycles, two Panigale V2 Super Quadros 2025s have 10,000 miles and no problem. So those two bikes have 10,000, and mine's got 30. So that's almost 50,000 miles of Ducati reliability. So I don't know what people are saying. These bikes are reliable. Like I don't even have stupid stuff like all the fitment. I mean, nothing falls off. There's no knobs. There's no bits and pieces falling off, and so I don't. I don't know. I got three Ducatis. I'm going to buy a fourth one. So I haven't had any problems with these bikes. They're very reliable. I mean, I guess my only recommendation is if you buy one, have it checked out. I think maybe people just don't do the maintenance or they don't ride them. I mean, I've seen brand new 2019 Panigale V2s with only 1,300 miles on them for sale. And I'm like, how is that possible? It's, I mean, we put 20,000 miles a year. I mean, and my boys, both those Panigales would probably have each 25,000 miles, but they're at college most of the time. They're only home like that was in 2 months they put 10,000 miles on them. So when we have them, we rip them around. I mean, they're fun to ride, and they're always a conversation piece. Like today, I went to lunch with my son, In-N-Out Burger. Several people come up. They want to take pictures of the bikes. They want to ask you about the bikes. You go to the gas station, people come up and ask about the bikes. It's a good social thing, and people love the Ducatis and the red, and because 90% of the people out there have a black motorcycle. So I don't know. Seems kind of boring to me, but I guess that's cool. I don't know if you want to be all blacked out, but I mean, this way I think it's more visible. And you see here, I have my kind of my fluorescent green motif going. My Rossi wannabe colors, which which is cool. I like Rossi, and I know he never really was a Ducati official racer, but you can always you can kind of dream that you're Rossi on a Ducati. That's kind of my whole thing. I pretend I'm a racer, but yeah, I really ripped. I've had this bike about a little less than 2 years, and I love it, man. After 30,000 miles on the same bike, you get tuned in. It's like a tool. I mean, I just feel totally comfortable at any speed on this bike, and I'm at the point now where I have to consciously slow down. I'm just so comfortable at high speeds. I mean, I'm on the freeway and I'm doing 120. I have to slow down. So I use the other traffic to pace myself. So if I'm look like I try not to pass people more than 5 miles an hour now. I've slowed down. I don't come ripping up by, and I don't lane split at speed. I only lane split if the traffic stopped or no more than like 20 miles an hour. If it's going, more than 20 or 25, I just get in line, because I know it seems to piss off a lot of people. I don't know, man. People don't like it when you lane split, even though here in California it's legal. And I don't know. And these bikes, you got to keep them moving because they will overheat. So if you see motorcycles lane split, and it's we're taking the risk, so we should get some benefit. But also like these super bikes, they overheat. So I mean, if I can't really I can't sit in traffic because my bike it'll overheat. But this one, I was in the 4th of July parade this summer at the local town here in Auburn, and it was like 105. And yeah, by the end of the parade, because I'm just revving it, and my two boys are revving their bikes, and you're in a parade, and you're going like 2 miles an hour, and it's just they start to overheat. So we had to, towards the end of the parade, we had to kind of quietly pull out of there and get on the road in the freeway. But I mean, it wasn't a problem. But yeah, they can overheat. You got to keep them. You got to keep them moving on the freeway. I mean, even on a hot day like 110, it's no problem. You could drive all day long, as long as you're moving over 30. You got to have some airflow in there to get the cooling down. So that's Slow Rider's 30,000 mile review. I love it. Like I say, I have this 2023 Diavel V4. Me and my sons each have we have two Panigale V2 Super Quadros. And then I'm gonna buy a 2025 or 2026 Panigale V4, with the new what do they call it, the Ducati Observer, because that's my day job as I'm a rocket scientist during the day, and then at night my hobby is motorcycles and other stuff. But all right with that, and if there's any questions or if people leave in the comments, I'll start checking them. And if they want me, I can do a really detailed, I have a pile of invoices, so I could go through those, but that might be a boring video. So basically what I did is I did all the maintenance you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. And specifically when I broke the bike in the first 500 miles, I did it very carefully. So I shifted. I didn't drive it slow, but I wasn't ripping it around like I'm doing now. Like I was shifting the gears. And so if you break these things in properly and you do the maintenance, you're not gonna have a problem. I see a lot of people buying these bikes on YouTube, brand new, whether it's the Aprilias or the Ducatis or the BMWs or even the MV Agustas, and the bike's got like 50 miles on it. They put like a tune and a muffler on it, and then they take it to the dyno. Yeah, you're gonna blow the engine because and also you're gonna get bad dyno results because at least I know on this bike, with the first 500 miles, the software won't let it give the full horsepower. So I think you gotta ride the bike easy the first 500 or 600 miles, get the maintenance, and then do the mods. That's a smarter, because then the bike is broken, and then also when you go to that first service, the factory uploads I think it remaps it to like the full power spectrum, because when you first get the bikes, I mean, I can't verify this, but I was kind of innuendo that that's kind of how they operate, at least Ducati. They're that first 500 miles is they don't let you have full access to the full power, because they don't want you blowing the motor out on it. Anyways, that's Slow Rider out. Have a good one.